We've made very good progress and we are going back very happy.
President Buhari secures and negotiates on various investment deals as part of engagement on future investment initiative in Saudi Arabia.
The celebration of the phenomenal achievement in 1959 would be wasted unless we recognize that the achievement represents sturdy shoulders for us to stand on.
60 years of television in Nigeria, convergence and divergence of technology in focus, as correspondent captures the past and the present.
I have never seen a situation where a military man in uniform is stopping an individual to search him and to ask him to present a means of identification.
House of Representatives asked Nigerian Army to explain the proposed Operation Positive Identification. And in sports, hope rises for Nigeria's under-23 team at the AFCON Championship. Hello, welcome to Network News on the Nigerian Television Authority. I am Joseph Johnson, and with me from Lagos is Jennifer Igwe, and Dibabari Siodoma Nweke is in our Port Harcourt Network Center. President Muhammadu Buhari has described as welcoming the commitment of Saudi energy company Aramco and the Public Investment Fund to explore areas of collaboration with Nigeria. The collaboration is geared at reviving the nation's refineries. At a meeting with the chairman of Aramco and governor of the Investment Fund, the president said Nigeria has a lot to learn from the expertise of the leading energy company. State House correspondent Adam Sambo reports.
The discussions held behind closed doors centered on the need to improve the efficiency of the oil and gas industry in Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari said the NNPC will soon embark on a diagnostic assessment of refineries, pipelines, depots, and other infrastructure across the country to ascertain the level of collaboration with Aramco. Governor of the Public Investment Fund, Yasir Al-Rumayyan, who spoke of their interest in Nigeria, affirmed the company's position to promote business investment opportunities through technology across the energy sector.
We've made very good progress and we are going back very happy. We're going to set up teams. What we have agreed is that we're going to set up teams on our side and on their side, and we will discuss further. They are coming to Nigeria to look at the refineries and the state of affairs of the pipelines, and then we'll take it up from there. If those refineries are working, our expenditure on subsidy will reduce, and that's really what we are pursuing. That's why we came out here, to ensure that our refineries work.
President Muhammadu Buhari also received in audience the United States Secretary of Treasury, Steven Mnuchin. How Nigeria can leverage on available opportunities in the development of finance cooperation towards enhancing the socio-economic transformation of the country dominated discussions. The cooperation manages a $60 billion fund set up by the United States government to help African countries address challenges of development.
We don't know exactly how much we'll get from it, but a $60 billion fund is available, and we will pitch for it. We will talk to them, and then we will see how much of it we can attract to Nigeria. Mr. President identified power and the general upgrade of our infrastructure. So we're going to, when we discuss the details with the Development Finance Corporation, we will come out with the details of the exact projects that will be funded from this funds that we will get from the U.S.
Similarly, the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Niyi Adebayo, engaged various investment funds, including Asma Capital, funded by Saudi Pension Fund, Saudi Investment Agency, as well as the Sultan of Brunei and the Kingdom of Bahrain.
They are very interested in investing in Nigeria, but unfortunately they've had a very bad experience in the past. And I promised that I would look into that issue when I get back home and see if we can come to a resolution of that particular problem. And I've asked them not to allow that to becloud their interest in Nigeria, because they have expressed that they are seriously interested in Nigeria. They're interested in funding infrastructure projects, power They even went as far as talking about investing in pharmaceutical industry in Nigeria.
The minister and the potential investors have agreed to further their conversations. From Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And a high-powered Saudi-Nigeria Council is to be set up as part of deliberate measures towards deepening relations between the two countries in critical economic sectors for mutual prosperity. This came after a high-level engagement between President Muhammadu Buhari and the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman. Again, State House correspondent Adamu Sambu has more.
The meeting between President Muhammadu Buhari and the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is a follow-up to an earlier engagement with the Saudi monarch King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. The Crown Prince was accompanied to the talks at the President's Lodge by 4 key ministers of the Saudi government, indicating the respect and enormous goodwill the Nigerian leader enjoys, as well as the high esteem in which he's been held in the kingdom. Discussions held behind closed doors centered on security, economy, petroleum sector, and indeed issues relating to Saudi-Nigeria Council, soon to be concretized.
This will be a council of ministers that will identify areas of cooperation, meet twice a year, and set targets and implement those targets over the 6-month period following each council meeting. Saudis are very keen to maintain and enforce agreements reached under the ECOWAS Plus agreement to keep to certain targets for each country, and pointed out that this is really the way forward for oil-producing countries to be able to maintain an adequate price level for petroleum.
Consequently, the Saudis expressed desire to invest in Nigeria, particularly in the oil and gas sector, but made a case for some safeguards and security.
You know, we're really looking at attracting foreign direct investment in Nigeria. A lot of effort has been made to make it easier for people to do business in Nigeria and attract as much investment as possible. And we have seen over the last few months that the Saudis have invested huge resources in India, Pakistan, and 2 or 3 other countries. And the Crown Prince mentioned that today, their willingness to invest those kinds of resources, in the billions of dollars in Nigeria.
During the meeting, President Muhammadu Buhari described as welcoming the renewed interest by the Saudis to invest in Nigeria's economy and reaffirmed his commitment to providing the enabling environment. In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has arrived the holy city of Mecca to perform the Lesser Hajj, otherwise referred to as Umrah. He was received on arrival at the Royal Terminal of King Abdulaziz International Airport, Jeddah, by a high-powered Saudi government delegation led by the Deputy Governor of Jeddah Province, Prince Abdullah bin Bandar bin Abdulaziz. From Mecca, Saudi Arabia, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Back home, Nigeria and the Socialist Republic of Vietnam Wednesday signed a bilateral agreement to further strengthen diplomatic and economic cooperation. This was when Vice President Yemi Osinbajo received a large delegation of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, led by the Deputy Prime Minister. State House correspondent Jidoni Fade has more.
Of State for Foreign Affairs. Nigeria and Socialist Republic of Vietnam have maintained cordial relations over the years. The two established diplomatic relationships since 1976, but this is about the only time a high-level delegation from Vietnam would be visiting the country. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the visit of the Deputy Prime Minister is therefore significant.
We have all decided that we will be looking at the possibilities of setting up a binational cooperation between Vietnam and Nigeria so that we can concretize some of the areas of cooperation and some of the ideas that we discussed earlier today. I'm confident that we can build on the successes recorded in the past while we forge new areas of cooperation in boosting trade and investment and enhance social and cultural relations between our people. We even agreed that we'd like to promote a friendly match that's a friendly football match between Vietnam and Nigeria.
We signed an agreement on waiver of visa for people carrying diplomatic and official passports. That, I believe, is a first step, and we certainly intend to build on that.
Của chính phủ Việt Nam, tôi xin cảm ơn sự đón tiếp.
The Vietnamese Deputy Prime Minister thanked his host and the country for the warm reception, affirming his country's commitment to working with Nigeria. The two toast and exchange gifts to a new beginning of greater bilateral relation. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NT News.
In the meantime, Nigeria will consolidate on existing multilateral cooperation with Japan to attract new technology and expertise for Nigeria's industrial growth and development. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustapha, stated this when he received the Japanese ambassador to Nigeria in Abuja. Mitare Igben reports.
The Japanese ambassador was at the presidency to extend his country's appreciation to President Muhammadu Buhari for delegating Mr. Boss Mustapha to attend the recent enthronement ceremony of Japan's new emperor, Naruhito, in Tokyo. The envoy described 2019 as historic in terms of multilateral engagements between both nations, citing President Buhari's participation in TICAD 7, as well as Japan's involvement in Nigeria's maiden June 12 Democracy Day celebration.
So it kind of symbolizes how much importance the Japanese government attach to the relation with Nigeria. So this year is special. Next year we're going to have many things to celebrate again.
Boss Mustapha said Nigeria has a friend in Japan and will step up bilateral ties for shared prosperity of the two countries.
Also to assure you that Nigeria would continue to keep very good and friendly diplomatic, social, cultural relationships with the country of Japan, because I know you have a lot to offer us. We have a lot in turn to offer you.
The Japanese envoy says his country looks forward to hosting the Nigerian contingent and elevating bilateral ties at next year's Olympics in Tokyo. In Abuja, Mitare Ikben, NTA News.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is advocating the sustenance of the momentum of promoting good ethical standards in Nigeria's public and private life to yield benefits for the present and coming generations. He was speaking at the 10th National Prayer Breakfast organized by the Christian Legislators Fellowship of the National Assembly. Olabode Arewa reports.
An atmosphere of love, friendship and togetherness permeating the Christian Brotherhood at the National Assembly is evident at this gathering. So individually and as a group, they express faith in God's ability to intervene and turn things around in Nigeria. Here the Christian legislators, their aides and other guests lifted their voices to God in supplication.
Oh God, arise! Oh God, arise over our nation!
In the last 10 years, the event has provided a platform to remind the legislators of the need to positively impact on society through lawmaking.
We had to come together as a nation, sing the song of the nations and pray.
So all our strategies will fail if we abandon God. So what we have come to do is to give him that reference.
We still have hope that with God all things are possible.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is grateful that the prayers of the saints are being answered by God.
It is because of his stripes that no physical weapon, no disease can be laid upon you. We are free of disease, we are free of curses.
The 2019 team of the fullness of time offered the legislators opportunity to retrospect, assess and plan ahead to make Nigeria better. In Abuja, Olaboderewa, NTA News.
Let's go to the National Assembly now, where the Senate Committee on Niger Delta Affairs has screened 14 out of the 16 nominees for appointment as members of the governing board of the Niger Delta Development Commission. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports that during the exercise, the committee harped on the need to ensure the completion of abandoned projects by the Commission.
On Tuesday, 29th of October 2019, Senate received requests from President Muhammadu Buhari for the confirmation of 16 nominees as members of Governing Board of the Niger Delta Development Commission. Same day, Senate at plenary mandated its Committee on Niger Delta Affairs to screen the nominees. 2 days after, the committee has screened 14 of the nominees with specific advice to address the issue of abandoned projects by the Commission in the Niger Delta region.
It's a duty that we have to perform and report back within 1 week.
I hope and I pray that your own tenure will be different to ensure that the quantum of abandoned projects in the NDDC, area is reduced.
Those who were screened made a promise to give in their best in the development of the Niger Delta.
That we are committed to working with this committee of the Senate and that of the House of Assembly to repositioning and rebranding the Niger Delta Commission so that we can change the narratives for good.
Pius Odubu is to serve as chairman with Bernard Okumaba as managing director. The remaining 2 nominees, Joy Nunia representing River State and Aisha Mohammed representing Northwest, are to be screened on Monday next week before confirmation of the 16 nominees on the floor of the Senate. The Niger Delta Development Commission is a federal government agency established in 2000 with the mandate of developing the Niger Delta region of Nigeria. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
What is Operation Positive Identification, and what does it seek to achieve? Now, these were among questions posed to the Nigerian Army when it appeared before the House Committee on Army to provide explanations on the proposed nationwide Operation Positive Identification. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali has more.
The proposed operation, the lawmakers said, has not been given enough publicity to sensitize the public, which was why it has been subjected to various interpretations, some of which are not positive.
Identification of individuals is the job of either the immigration or the police. Now, in doing this operation, are you going to involve the police?
Even the one that is happening in the Northeast, military, I have never seen a situation where a military man in uniform is stopping an individual to search him and to ask him to present a means of identification.
But the Chief of Civil Military Affairs Army Headquarters said the operation is nothing new and is specifically directed at fleeing criminals who, based on intelligence, are spreading to other locations of the country away from their usual base of operations.
We are just trying our best to ensure that we apprehend some of these criminals and Boko Haram terrorists that may have escaped from the northeast to other areas. Based on credible information or intelligence, we might conduct raid or cordon and search operations whenever we have credible intelligence or information as regards some of these criminals. And that is when you will require this issue of identifying yourself so that we can be sure that you are not a criminal or you are a Boko Haram terrorist.
He allayed fears being entertained that the rights of citizens without valid identification might be infringed on, stating that any form of identification would suffice.
We are not basing it on any particular means of identification. It would just be something as simple as a school identification card, work identification card, and that settles it. Nobody is saying that it must be international passport, national identity card, driver's license, no.
The operation, according to the Army, is a subsidiary of military operations in areas confronted with security challenges and does not warrant additional troops nor mounting of checkpoints.
I commend the Nigerian Army for bringing up ideas, you understand, especially a preventive measures, because what it does is if everybody knows that they have to carry their IDs, it will stop a lot of people engaging themselves in criminal activities.
If they do arrest people, eventually, normally they hand it over to the police. So, but we'd like to see those analyses and see how we can come back.
From the National Assembly, Dami Ali, NCA News.
Now you know what that means, don't you? Let's just take our first commercial break. Stay with us, so we have plenty more for you when we return.
I better go. I feel like saying the bread don't take time finish.
When they're supposed to buy for it, they will not buy. We look here. It's still the same 200 naira for it. We will still buy.
Okay, 200. Make I put your usual bill.
Yes, but you go add 888. Join now.
It's a big level.
Is it not 200? You give that lady.
Now 888 is that.
888 now the new AWOOF. Recharge with star 888 star pin hash to enjoy 5 times AWOOF from MTN to call any network. You fit also enjoy a on top VTU. Just ask your vendor for AWOOF for you.
Conductor, where my other naira change?
Office man, you don't dey forget money self.
Oh, forget. You go even add 888. Join that shit. Give me change.
It is another morning, not just an ordinary time. Start of a new day. A new beginning. As you prepare everyone for the long day ahead, just anything is not enough. It is only you who makes breakfast special. You make them creamy. You make them tasty. You add vitamins and nutrients we need for a delightful, healthy start to the day.
So start your day right with Hollandia Evap.
Hollandia Evap. Life tastes different. Hollandia.
Papa Scholastic, now what are you doing? Emeka, drive the limousine Bugatti, come inside now. Waiting below 200 naira recharge card for me.
Just recharge 200 naira for one day, and you say fit follow win for the hundreds and hundreds of heavy prizes like a can of pepper, industrial sewing machine, grinding machine, and generator. No, my own done better.
My grinder will go win. Now here I go put up. Make
Hey, make una no go recharge you na glow. I don't win generator, and here na myself. Oh,
the more you recharge, the more your chance the better.
Unlimited. One quality sound. Want it bigger? Want affordable? Buy Cynics. Bigger, better.
Nigerian Medical Association presents its second National Health Summit with the theme Patient-Centered Care. This summit will host the 25th Commonwealth Medical Association Triennial Conference 2019. Chief host, the Minister of FCT, Malam Mohammed Musa Bello. Co-chief host, the Governor of Nasarawa State, Engineer Abdullahi Sule. Hosts are Dr. Francis Adedayo Faduyile, President NMA, Professor Fajira Disana Yanke, President CMA, Dr. Osage Emmanuel Ehanire, Minister of Health. Keynote speaker, His Excellency Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, Governor of Delta State. Special guest of honor, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, President, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Date, 4th to 8th November 2019. Time, 9 a.m. daily. Venue, International Conference Center, Abuja. There will also be an inauguration of Dr. Osaho Enabulele, the first Nigerian to be the President of the Commonwealth Medical Association. Signed, Dr. Ekpe Phillips Uche, Chairman LOC, Dr. Ofem Enang, Chairman CPC. To register, visit www.nmanationalhealthsummit.com.
Strongest, no challenge can stop us, so Lord.
Let Monster Goodness fuel your greatness. Let's go.
Hey, bro, what's good? What's up, man?
Wait. Sure, send I one device to carry.
Enjoy more data than before on Airtel Home Broadband. Get up to 160 gigabytes on routers with 25,000 Naira and 55 gigabytes on Airtel MiFis with 12,000 Naira. More data, more you. Reliable home broadband by
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Like a building, democracy has its essential part. Security and peace form the core foundations of any prosperous democratic society. Insecurity deprives a society of the much-needed stability for anything tangible to be achieved. In Kogi State today, there has been peace and stability in the past 3.5 years. This didn't happen by accident. One man, Governor Yahaya Bello, understands the need for peace as an essential ingredient for development. The issue of resolving insecurity in the land tops his table of preference. He provided security agencies with numerous patrol vehicles. Kidnappers' dens have been destroyed. Gangs of robbers have been arrested and prosecuted. Criminals are denied access to land. Kogi State has become one of the most peaceful states in the Nigerian Federation. It needs our support for further development on the solid foundation being laid. Think GYB, a rational choice.
This is still NTA Network News. Thanks for staying with us. Imagine what life will be without a medium for information dissemination, education and entertainment to mankind. Your guess is same as mine. Well, Adebola Brookslyn Sunday in this report takes a look at the evolution of this technology called television, which finds its way to Africa 60 years ago.
Television as a medium is no doubt one of the greatest gifts of electronics engineering to mankind. It was in the year 1927 that the first public demonstration of television was made by a 21-year-old American, Philo Taylor Fansmouth, an innovation he began in 1926. Few years later, electronics experiments began in America and Europe. As the giant of Africa, on the 31st of October 1959, even before its independence, Nigeria took the lead in terrestrial television broadcasts belonging to the Western Nigerian Television Service in Ibadan, southwest Nigeria, which transformed to the largest TV network in Africa, the NTA.
A few events in my life have given me so much pleasure as to come before you tonight to open formally the first television network in Africa.
This was started in 1976, but it was eventually consummated in 1977 when the decree was promulgated, bringing into being the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
Another fact on record is that television broadcasts began in Nigeria ahead of Malaysia, Singapore, Jamaica, North Korea, and even Canada that launched its own in 1968. Several African countries did not have TV stations until the 70s and the 80s.
That's Adebami, and it's in the net. It is a goal.
The technology continued to be dynamic as it moved from the analog black and white era to the digital system. I am Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
Now imagine us not sharing this moment together. No, not a good thought at all. Still talking television though, the vision of the founding fathers of television should be enhanced for sustainable development in the society. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo said this at the 60th anniversary of the first television in Africa. Ayomiku Ajibola has details.
Africa's first television, WNTV, was established 6 years ago in Ibadan by the Western Nigerian government under the visionary leadership of Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the then premier, precisely on the 31st of October 1959.
It's given me so much pleasure to come before you tonight to open formally the first television network in Africa.
Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo, who joined in the celebration of 6 years of television in Africa, said the vision of Chief Obafemi Awolowo was to have a platform to teach, entertain, and stimulate the people to turn Nigeria into a booming and successful nation.
The celebration of the phenomenal achievement in 1959 would be wasted unless we recognize that the achievement represents sturdy shoulders for us to stand on, and that today we can do more, and that the vision of Awo was to build a people capable of excelling beyond even his own achievements.
Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Muhammad, represented by the Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Malam Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, said it is imperative that history be appreciated, taught and documented to motivate present and future generations.
Practitioners of the broadcasting industry must return to the path of honor and sound professionalism in order to sustain the industry's pride and return it to its position of eminence in the ecosystem of our country called Nigeria.
This is therefore a celebration of a Nigeria that blazed the trail for other African countries to follow.
Special award were presented to families of WNTV visionaries, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Chief Anthony Enahoro, and Chief Tanimo Solari, while a book titled Heritage of Excellence was also presented. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
Meanwhile, since 1958 that radio and television broadcast operations began in Nigeria, progress has been recorded in the industry, so much so that the number of broadcast media outfits have grown to over 100, and the number is still counting. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, while inaugurating a digital television and radio studio in Abuja, says government would continue necessary support to the private sector for ease of doing business, and also calls on operators to stick to the rules. State House correspondent Gideon Ifade reports.
And also the opening and unveiling.
Apart from the role of dissemination of information, radio and television stations are training grounds for the youth of the country and platforms to showcase their talents. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo arrives here at Jabi in the Federal Capital Territory to unveil another radio and television studio.
Over the years, they have expanded into many parts of Nigeria, being one of the fastest growing in terms of coverage in both our urban and rural areas across the country. For the benefit of the people of Nigeria and to the glory of God.
Vice President also has a feel of the digital studios and commends the achievements of the media in the country.
Beautiful people.
The achievement did not, however, come cheap, as one of the operators, Tijani Ramalan, explains.
The government has a huge role in supporting the commercial broadcast houses, more so with the new NBC code.
Tijani Ramalan also has a word of advice for media outfits operators.
All private stations must look at the interests of this nation and ensure that nobody allows his platform to be used for any fake news and hate speech.
As the nation celebrates the historical day of broadcasting in Nigeria, the Vice President offered prayers for media outfits in the country to achieve the objectives to inform, educate, and entertain, and that they will do so with the highest standards of professionalism and ethics. In Abuja, Jide Onifade,
Enter News.
Propaganda, fake news and hate speech have been identified as effective tools that are being used by extremists to propagate their dangerous ideas. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed said this at the 2019 FRCN lecture in Abuja. Anthony Forson reports.
These are very potent tools in the hands of extremists.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed keyed into the theme of this year's annual lecture, which is looking at extremism, a threat to national unity. The minister, while commending FRCN for its consistency in organizing this annual lecture series, said it has become a reference point as it takes on topical national issues for discourse, which goes a long way in shaping opinions.
The power of radio and television, including their wide reach, means that we should not allow extremists to turn these powerful media platforms into catalysts for conflict.
He, however, restated the federal government's determination to inject sanity into the nation's broadcasting space as part of efforts in tackling the menace of fake news and hate speech.
This will go a long way in helping us to understand even more the dangers posed to our national unity by unmitigated extremism.
Guest lecturer Professor Kursim Leonard Fwa of the Faculty of Social Science, Haifa University in Israel, put the issues of extremism in perspective by saying extremism is a product of society's denial and poses serious danger to the world.
The Institute of Economic and Peace latest Global Terrorism Index reports that violent extremism continues to be a major cause of deaths and instability around the world.
Borno State Governor, who was represented by his deputy, Umar Usman, applauded FRCN for the effort.
I would like to call on the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria to intensify the effort through the provision of relevant services to inculcate sense of patriotism and self-reliance among the teeming youth who are increasingly become restive in response to the socio-economic condition of the environment.
Director General of the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, Mansour Liman, said the idea behind the annual lecture series is to engage citizens in a mind-stimulating manner that will help shape perceptions.
Today's lecture, which is the 13th in the series, will focus on some of the issues fueling the publication of these fake news and hate speeches. That is, extremist behaviors and their attendant consequences.
There were goodwill messages from some chief executives that were present. NTA's Director General was represented by the Executive Director Engineering, Moses Okwanachi.
I have no doubt in my mind that you will do the normal justice you have done in the past. Whatever that will be the highlights of these discussions will be relevant to the needs of Nigeria, that will promote unity and cohesiveness of this great country.
The choice of this year's topic, according to the organizers, is in response to discrete and pockets of extremist activities threatening to evolve in different parts of the country. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
A bit on politics now. Display of great deal of professionalism by media practitioners will to a large extent contribute to the peaceful conduct of the governorship elections in Kogi and Bayelsa states. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu made the observation in a consultative meeting with the media ahead of the November 16th elections.
As we move closer to the Bayelsa and Kogi governorship elections, the Commission will once again accredit media organizations to report from the two states. As usual, we will be available to address any challenges that we may encounter in the field in the course of your coverage of the elections. Let me also appeal to the media for accurate, objective, and professional reporting of the elections. While INEC does not believe in censorship, it is our collective responsibility to combat fake news. The best antidote to fake news is more openness and transparency. We are open to verification of information either through our state offices or national headquarters of the Commission.
INEC and the media
inseparable twins in the conduct of elections, with the intention to ensure that democracy progresses in this country.
Kano State Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje has inaugurated a 16-member commission of inquiry into the alleged kidnap and sale of 9 children from the state. The commission, chaired by retired Kano High Court Judge, is, in addition to identifying the causes, victims and culprits, it is also expected to recommend ways of preventing future occurrence. Abdullahi Mustafa has details.
Members of the Judicial Commission of Inquiry, led by Justice Wada Umarano, are to identify causes, those involved, and possible ways of preventing future occurrence.
I have already directed the State Minister of Justice to amend the relevant provision of the Penal Code laws of Kano State that provides for the punishment for the offender of kidnapping from form of imprisonment to death penalty.
The event was also a platform that brought together stakeholders, including the rescued children and their parents, security agents, religious and community leaders.
This is a pure case of criminal conspiracy, concealment, and keeping in confinement a kidnapped person, buying and selling of minor, and trafficking in persons.
And I want to thank the people of Kano State for their understanding, because this is that type of thing that ignites crisis in town. I want to thank them for their restraint.
Parents of the rescued children thanked Kano State government and the police for reuniting them. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
As part of efforts to ensure all the nation's airports and other critical assets are secured against acts of terrorism, the Nigerian Air Force has evolved strategies towards ensuring the safety of passengers through the exercise Steel Dome 2 at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport. Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports that the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, assured that the exercise will further strengthen the combat readiness of the Special Force.
For quite some time, Nigeria has been grappling with insecurity resulting to loss of lives and property, which is now contained by the security agencies. Airport, which is an important economic infrastructure, is one of the critical areas the Nigerian Air Force is fortifying by introducing the exercise Steel Dome 2 in the north and Thunderbolt in the southern part of the country. Malam Aminu Kano International Airport is the second in the series of the exercise after the Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport, Abuja. This simulation by the Special Force was to showcase strength to combat unwanted attack at the nation's airport.
I believe that sustaining the exercises across other major airports and other trouble spots in the country on a regular basis will constantly put security personnel and other stakeholders in good state to effectively curtail national security threats.
And this exercise, in particular in Kano, has added value to the airport because international communities now will take Kano as a safe airport.
The Chief of the Air Staff assured Nigerians that with the collaboration of other security agencies, the nation's airport will be effectively strengthened. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Nigeria will commence local production of electric transformers next year. This indication was made by the Executive Vice Chairman of National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, Professor Mohammed Haruna, while evaluating the current training of Nigerian engineers in China in transformer and accessories manufacturing process and high voltage testing. Science correspondent Keriano Mayo has details.
The major objective for the Nigeria-China partnership in this direction is to address three main Nigeria's critical power needs, namely electric power transformer production, establishment of high-voltage testing laboratory, and setting up of solar cell production facilities.
We are grateful to the government of President Muhammadu Buhari for making this possible. The approval we got from Prime Minister of Science and Technology, and for believing in Naseni. The People's Republic of China for creating this opportunity. They are to come back fully equipped, well informed, with competence to do design, to do production, to do installation, maintenance and repairs.
Engineer Mohammed Salihu says they are in high spirit, exhibiting appreciable level of technical know-how. The engineers are currently trained by Chinese experts in transformer production chain.
We have a classroom where we go for lectures. After lectures, we go to the line where we make our practice. And whatever we learn in the classroom, we now implement it practically in the workshop.
We are sharing the most advantage, the technology to the Nigeria trainees. So we are so glad and to be honored to have a good partner with the Nasini institutions.
Executive Vice President of China Great Wall Industries Corporation, Zhang Zhendong, and his Huawei counterpart, Ma Liming, affirmed that their partnership with Naseni will culminate in the establishment of sophisticated transformer plant and fully manned by Nigerian experts. Kirian Umayo, NTA News.
Well, let's get you more reports now from our Lagos Network Center. And here is Jennifer. Jennifer?
Thank you, Joseph, and welcome to Lagos. Now, effective communication has been described as a veritable tool in repositioning the Nigerian police force to surmount the challenges of effective policing in the 21st century. This was a submission at the end of the 3-day retreat for senior police officers in Lagos. Michael Olaleye reports.
The recent increase of crime rates in the country is a major concern to the Nigeria Police Force. To effectively clamp down on criminals and other miscreants, disturbing peace and unity of the country, the need to reposition the police force for effective policing in the 21st century cannot be overstressed. Inspector General of Police Mohammed Adamu was optimistic that the 3-day retreat will go a long way to enhance the operations of the police in combating crimes.
When we get back, we will review all the takeaways and place them in the different departments and sections so as to implement them, all with a view to improving our performances so that members of the public will have the security that they deserve.
Guest Speaker John Momo stressed on the need for effective communication as a tool for managing security challenges.
Police officers could not serve the public effectively without good communication skills, a lack of which will show them as not performing well.
We have been taught on modern data analysis, how to use statistics to fight crime, and how to use high technology in solving crime issues.
The 3-day retreat, which commenced on Monday, was attended by senior police officers from rank of commissioners of police, assistant inspector generals, and deputy inspector generals. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NT News.
Now we're from security to transportation. Now the Lagos State chapter of the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria, RETAN, has re-elected its current chairman, Musa Mahmood, and other incumbents for a tenure of 5 years. Musa Mahmood promised to support all transportation initiatives of the Lagos State government aimed at making commuting more pleasurable in the state. Once again, Michael Olaleye reports.
It's exactly 5 years. Musa Muhammad was first elected as chairman of the Lagos State chapter of the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria. To these 700 delegates, the remarkable achievements he recorded are visible, which underscores the revalidation of his candidacy for another 5 years. After the screening and selection process, Musa Mohammed was unanimously elected and sworn in alongside other members by the legal advisor of the union. Certificates of return were issued to the 63 newly elected executive members, just as the chairman promised to respect the values of the association and defend its constitution regardless of personal interests.
In terms of giving support to the government from the federal level to the state level, by God's grace, I will continue doing my best. My own advice to my members, they should keep law and order anywhere they find themselves. Nobody should tell law into his hand.
National executive members of the union, led by its Secretary General Harry Ejiofor, commended Musa Mohammed for his dedication to matters affecting the association. This is the 11th Delegates Conference of the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria in Lagos State. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NT News.
Thank you, Michael. Now, Musa Mohammed there, the re-elected Lagos State Chapter Chairman of the Road Transport Workers Association. Now, that's a contribution from Lagos. Network News continues after this timeout. Please stay tuned.
Ute. Let me give phone to Smally, make I follow up.
It's Wasiu, your former driver.
Hey! Wasiu! The video call! Oh, Kaka! Mommy! With my Glow 4G, I can now upload my cars online, sell, and make plenty profit. Guess what they call me now, mommy? The new mega online car dealer.
Wasiu! Right now, when the iron is hot.
See, we won't be like Shaki. I will come and meet you specially and bring one big one for you.
Why you won't see me?
Your daughter. I want to marry her.
You know where? I've been wanting to know the Lord.
Hello?
When Glow 4G day of phone, confidence must be body. Data is oxygen. Glow 4G, the new speed of life. Your #1 4G network nationwide. The very best from Glow, the grandmasters of data.
One quality sound. Want it bigger? Want affordable? Buy Cynics. Bigger, better.
Darling, what's the matter? It's your birthday. Guests are already waiting at the pool.
It's headache, cold, pains all over my body.
Cold Time Anti-Cold Tablet contains powerful ingredients specially prepared to bring you fast relief from headache, body ache, cough, flu, cold, and fever. Baby, how are you feeling now?
Wow, I feel great thanks to Cold Time Tablet.
Cold Time Tablet also available in syrup for children. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor. Cold Time Anti-Cold Tablet, a quality product from Embassy Pharmaceutical and Chemicals Limited. Cold Time Anti-Cold Tablet, your visa to
One quality sound. Want it bigger? Want affordable? Buy Cynics. Bigger, better.
What we are really cultivating here is a better future for all Nigerian women, and it's not always easy. Panadol Extra relieves headache, backache, joint pain, toothache, and menstrual pain. The pain is worth it.